We've been searching for many years now for the way to bring about a revolution. We need a revolution in the way that we tackle social issues. If we don't find more effective ways of tackling them, not only are we going to find ourselves living with social division and violence, but we're going to live in a deeply unfair society. The linking of a social performance and the financial return is what we've been looking for. It is the key to the revolution. It is the key to the capital markets. We've heard a lot about the invisible hand of markets. Let us bring the invisible heart of markets to help those whom the invisible hand has left behind. I got a phone call in 2000 from the Treasury in the UK saying, we've decided to set up a task force to look at poverty and the social issues that surround it. Would you agree to lead it? We're trying to help policymakers across the globe to adopt and to implement impact investment. The big breakthrough came with the development of the social impact bond, in my view, in 2010, because for the first time we said to the leader of a social organization, if you can achieve performance in homelessness, in recidivism, in dropout rates from school, in taking unemployed youth into work, then you can deliver a return to your investors.
The world's first social impact bond launched in 2010 in Peterborough, UK. The Peterborough SIB aimed to reduce prisoner recidivism by 7.5% or more. An innovative social program sought to bring all of the services an offender might need for successful re-entry under one roof. 17 investors liked the idea and gave the provider $7.6 million to get to work. By reducing recidivism, the government saves $45,000 per prisoner per year. Savings that can be used to pay investors a return of up to 13% while reducing crime and improving lives.
Now we can see 45 social impact bonds across the world, covering all of the social issues that I have described and many more. Throughout all of the G7 countries and Australia, this agenda is moving forward.
I really think you're going to start to see a building movement. Could be as big as the New York Stock Exchange, meaning it's as important as the creation of new capital markets. My real interest is social impact bonds as they apply to early childhood. Because of all the arenas that you can apply social impact bonds to, there is the greatest potential return for society as well as for investors in early childhood.
Let them know that this is where you came when you was born. Come on, don't be shy.
This one kid was born.
Say, I've been here all my life.
I've been all my life.
I'm truly grateful for the school. They put their all into their students. They want their students to have the best. I'll see you later. You guys have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
You gotta go to work today, Mom?
Yeah, I have to work today. I'll see you tomorrow, this evening.
Uh-huh.
Good morning. How are you?
So in each year, we have a cohort of children that's being funded by the Social Impact Bond. For each of those years, we're going to take that entire intervention group and compare their performance to a control group of children that are Chicago Public School kids that are coming from the same neighborhoods,
I'm glad you're so bundled up.
but that haven't been able to access preschool.
Here's the deal. The Pritzker Foundation, Goldman Sachs, and Northern Trust invested $17 million to send 2,600 children to preschool over 3 years. The investors make money when students leave preschool kindergarten ready, pass a third grade reading test, and don't need remedial education. Chicago Public Schools and the City of Chicago pay the return on investment, up to 8% for the next 18 years. Optimum results will more than double investor money.
The largest payment is $9,100 per year per student who's able to avoid special education. And that calculation is going to happen each year up until senior year of high school.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? When the students come in, we usually do like beginning of the year assessments with them and just kind of get a baseline for where they're at. Let's go. It's time to go. For most of the population that we see here, they're at least a year behind. We have a waiting list and parents want to get their students in school. You know what, I don't think that they're really aware, how the social impact bond functions and where this money's coming from. I just think they're happy that they can have their children in school. Can you just leave those over there, please? Then Ms. Parker's coming around with the pencils right now. By the end of the school year, students should be able to write their names, first and last name, spelling it correctly. They need to be able to identify all letters, upper and lowercase.
Great job.
They're gonna know you did a great job, and then they're gonna know who it belongs to because you signed it, right? Data collection starts at the beginning of the year, and there's 38 different objectives that we have to meet. You have to really train yourself. Who is it that I want to document today, and what is it that I'm looking for? I know that the foundation that we have in place is strong. When they see the results from this year, they're going to see gains, and they're going to see a lot of growth with our kids.
Let's sing our alphabet song. Ready? A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
My riskiest capital will make about 8%. So, that's an okay return.
M-N-O-P.
I've heard the quotes around it, the idea that, why are we letting, investors make money off of our children? Well, that's silly. The reality is the more than 2,000 children that will be served by the Chicago Social Impact Bond would not otherwise be served.
Now I know my ABCs.
Good, Leah.
Next time I want you to
Sing with me. Okay, sit up.
You've got, sort of a dragon's den approach to social services. You've got a couple different agencies that go to investors and try to pitch their ideas. And if the rich individuals, rich companies like their ideas, and they fund them, and then governments, if they work, pay all the money back to investors plus a profit margin. And if they don't work, hypothetically, the investors lose all their money. And that's the sort of pure idea of social impact bonds. But as we start to see them implemented, we see that it's much more complicated than that.
We're applying for a program that we're calling Homelessness to Home, targeted on housing homeless folks who'd been on the street for a long time. We began to put in place our idea of how do we have a lot of impact in a 3-year period of time. And at the end of that, someone feels confident enough they could say goodbye to that intensive support and take advantage of the whole array of support systems out there and be in their life, moving on.
Mainstay Housing wants to expand its pilot program aimed at housing the chronically homeless. Participants get affordable housing and 2 years of intense daily support to help them adapt to permanent tenancy. In the 3rd year, support is gradually stepped down as the tenant connects with outside community services. Mainstay needs $5 million to expand its program and prove that it works for the hardest to house.
Performance measurement.
You guys have put a lot of effort into these projects. You're trailblazing, you're innovating, you're pushing the boundaries of conversations with governments, and you're doing that on behalf of other nonprofits that are thinking through these same models. So,
why do we pursue a social impact bond? Because I think the private sector has things to teach social services. We need to be able to demonstrate concretely what the impact of the service is so that government will continue to invest in it. Government is looking to social impact bonds to validate for them their investment in these big social problems.
This is a building where they provide housing to people with severe mental illness and addiction. John, are you home? One way or other, they experience homelessness throughout their life. I'm going to see one of my clients, John. Yeah, John moved in at the end of February. It takes a while to get used to their house, and that's why whenever you want to see them, we go on the street and see how they're doing. Oh, he's over there. I just seen him. Hey, John. How are you doing? As I said, they're going to go Tuesday. How is everything?
Everything's fine. Me and my mom and my dad came here when we were a kid because we used to live just up the road. Now I came back here just because it's a memory to my mom that just died.
Oh, boy. You try your best,
And all I got left is my brother and my friend Joe. That's all I got left. I need to drink a beer now.
You don't know anybody in the building?
In this building here?
Yeah? You don't know anybody?
No, I just say hi, bye. That's it. I don't want to talk to nobody. I like to be alone. You know what I mean? I don't need no friends.
You want to have your own privacy, a place where you can enjoy your,
Exactly. Yeah. All I'm used to doing is drinking beer. That's the problem. I'm a very bad alcoholic.
You don't have to judge yourself.
And a drug addict, too.
Yeah, I didn't know about that part.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the way it is,
Well,
right?
we can talk about it later. Don't worry. We can talk about that part.
All right. Be good. I've been here all my life. No, everybody over here knows me. Yeah, and they know I'm outspoken, and I treat you with respect, and you just give me mine. Hey, y'all. I've seen neighbors come and go, buildings come up and buildings being torn down. It's a repeat, the cycle with the infestation of drugs again. The only thing that's changing are the faces, but the game is still the same. I don't let my children go outside in the neighborhood unless I'm with them, and it's only for a limited amount of time. Reggie, he's so street smart. For him to be 5, he's kind of getting it already. He needs to know that life is more than just people standing on corners and fighting, police constantly around. You know, he needs to know it's more than that. He do know that his brother was shot, but he doesn't know why he was shot. Like, we all don't know why he was shot. I had to watch my baby die in the hallway because there was nothing I could do but hold him. That's the part where I'm at now, trying to forgive the person who did this, the person who broke my heart and causes great unhappiness to come into my children's life.
In a human ecological framework, we think about a child in a family, in a neighborhood, in a community, in a society, and all those pieces are connected. Insert 3 hours a day of preschool and voila, all this stuff happens for the next 18 years? No, no way. And I don't want to lock us in to paying an investor who's profiting off of early childhood interventions. We know those work, and we know that they set you up for a better life, absolutely. But I don't think it's prudent fiscally to make a year-by-year connection to that, to a private investor. Too much else is moving in the system.
They come in and they want to know, where's the cost saving? Because that's the return on investment. And we say, not sure about cost savings, cost avoidance for sure, changing the cost curve for sure. And one great question we got was, oh, and so when will we get these people off welfare and into working? And we said, that's not the goal.
I think the objective of this meeting...
Homelessness to Homes actually gets them out of intense, unimaginable poverty and allows them to claim their entitlements as a citizen, which is a disability pension. Somebody choosing to enter into the Homelessness to Homes, they're really a high needs individual. But at the end of step down, their trajectory is very different.
Right.
A lot of our back and forth over the next couple of weeks will be really just getting crisp on what exactly you're going to do for who, what's going to be achieved, and how are you going to prove it.
The investor is going to expect a return on its investment tied to the success rate of the program. So if your program hits its target of 75% success, then the investor would get a return of 10.59%.
So they're going to scrutinize our 75%, and they're going to want to know, is that a consistent 75% each year? Can we guarantee that that's the target?
I guess there are two aspects of success of this program. The first is whether the program successfully steps down.
Yep.
And whether those who step down maintain their step down. I mean, we're confident that those who are stepped down will actually use fewer public services.
How will you know when that change has happened? The trigger that says, yeah, you have achieved success or you're not quite there yet.
The part that shocked me, I'll be honest, when we've been predicting 75% will succeed in the step down, now to see a financial return attached to that with the full implications, if we were lucky enough to get picked, then oh my goodness, you know, we're into a very serious relationship.
Payment triggers are a really interesting bit. The temptation is that social impact bonds put easy metrics in which don't really link to genuinely good outcomes. So if I can give an example of what really poor triggers are, in the children at the edge of care, the trigger was the number of days that vulnerable children didn't spend in care. Now they could have been anywhere. Really, the outcomes should have been, and that we fought very hard for, was what has changed in the home that now makes the home a safe place for those children.
We are in the nascent stages of a social impact bond boom, in my view. But it will only occur if people have confidence that the evaluation is independent and that the payout is rational.
To pay investors a profit, SIBs need to attribute results. That means making a direct link between Chicago's pre-K program and a student's academic success. Evaluators do this by comparing the SIB cohort to a control group of children without access to preschool. The first pre-K SIB Goldman Sachs and J.B. Pritzker invested in was in Utah. Instead of a control group, a test was used to predict who might need remedial education. After a year of preschool, 99.9% of the children identified avoided special education, a success rate unheard of in similar programs.
You were the catalyst, the champion, the final sort of deal closer for the first social impact bond in Utah, where the transaction was enormously successful, but it was so successful that it generated some controversy about how can that be?
It did invite some criticism of those who said, was our predictor accurate? Was our predictor generous? Rigorous evaluation is important, but it's not every deal will be rigorously evaluated.
The government wanted this to succeed, and the numbers said that they had. Every single education expert that looked at it from the outside that didn't have skin in the game said that that's false. You didn't do what you just claimed. You're just using a numbering system that resulted in you getting the money back, but you didn't actually make a difference to those kids that were the subject.
If you move it away from the profit motive and try to motivate it solely by a desire to help others, you weaken hugely your ability to use cash flows and growth of markets in order to fund your activities and achieve scale.
Commissioning of public services is now becoming a very fluid
concept. We have been asked as a foundation to become a commissioner for services, and we've absolutely said that is not our place. We're not democratically accountable. That goes back to almost like Victorian times. I think we have to think very, very carefully about what is a philanthropic gift and what is a democratic right.
You go back 20 years, we didn't very often hear the argument that government couldn't afford education or healthcare or social services or jails. In the last 20 years, we are twice as wealthy as we used to be, and the claim now is that we can afford public services less. The whole thing is a falsehood on a falsehood on a falsehood. The problem is that that money is no longer distributed as fairly as it used to be.
We have an educational genocide going on in the city of Chicago. When you have 54 schools closed in Black and brown communities, this is a fight that you must dig your teeth, your nails, your claws, and your feet in.
Every day, I see people who can't afford their medications, people who don't have enough food, people who don't have adequate housing.
We need to be at a ballot, be it the strike sign, be it the petition, be it the lobby, be it whatever it is that rises up. And when Goliath falls, there will be a deafening sound across this state. We are fighting back.
We have all these amazing people working in our schools who are doing amazing work because it's what they want to do. And then we have a governor who worked, I know, right? This guy looks at the state of Illinois like it's a hedge fund operation. They are going after social services, the things that people need in order to survive. Not live, not flourish, survive. Who are the winners and losers in this game? Who are they? Sisters and brothers, we are all in this together, and together we are stronger. And when we fight,
Social impact bonds allows people who are uncomfortable, let's say, with the idea of simply saying, well, government, go out and spend money on this problem. It allows them to focus those dollars on efficient and effective programs. Only the most effective programs can be the subject of a social impact bond, at least over the long haul. Why? Because investors would demand it.
The tenant members, I'm just in awe of them. Like, I don't know what it would be like to live lives of incredible hardship, loneliness, and invisibility. Because that's what it means to be homeless, to be invisible. The only way you survive on the street is to narrow your sense of what's possible for you. To very minimal stakes, right? Because their whole experience has been failure. And when you take the risk and you begin to have a place to call your own, knowing what the world has done to you at its worst, to take that risk and all of a sudden dare to dream, like that to me is a profound thing.
Joe!
What's new?
What's going on?
What's that? What's that?
I had a little stroke.
Oh.
I had a little stroke.
Oh boy. When did that happen?
That happened 2 weeks ago.
Oh. Now you have to take care of him.
Yeah.
When you go there, just go, I want to see this person.
Okay.
Because yeah, he's a manager and he can help you.
Okay.
Tell him that I referred you.
All right. Please, Matt.
Yeah, for sure.
Please do that.
Yeah, but you have to go there.
I will go
Yeah,
there.
you need-
I will go.
I got lots of friends. Some of them just rather stay on the street. It's the way they choose their life, I guess, right? Oh, I understand. I didn't want to come here, but now I'm here. Now it's okay, right? That's all you can say.
What made the difference for you that you decided to come into a home?
Well, I lost my family, so I have nothing left, so I gotta try and rebuild myself. That's all there is to it.
So after your mom passed.
Yeah. The medication helps me.
And what's it for?
Paranoid schizophrenia and bipolar. Been about a year now.
That's a big step, no?
I guess so, yeah. It's all right.
For this population, every police stop costs over $380. Every ambulance cost has a fixed cost. Every time someone walks into Emerge, that's fixed. If we can change that trajectory, we've avoided that cost. When Deloitte did the analysis, one of the things that they included as a cost in the program was people getting access to social assistance. And we were dismayed to see that it's a net loss. If it is merely reduced to saving government money, then you come back to the question as a social worker, is that good enough? No. I can save an awful lot of money by warehousing people, but that's not what we're about. So we're just doing the repairs. I see. Yeah, we want to keep this building going for another 30 years.
So Deloitte looked at putting the business case together. What Malates is doing is being able to validate what they say in their business case is actually doable and feasible, and then how it can pay. Like, what do the investors want to pay off on, right?
We wanted to test this idea that a population that's been a minimum 5 years homeless needs 2 years intensive whenever they want support from skilled people like Matt. And we promise you that at that end of that 2-year point, we're now going to work with you over 1 year to shift away from us to the services you are actually entitled to as a citizen. And we call that the step down.
Okay. And there are 3 sets of data here. This one is the monthly outcome measurement report.
So each row is a day?
Each row is a day.
Okay. So let's talk about the usage profiles for step-down assessments. What measures are going to be the ones that trigger payments? So have you created one, like a...
Not as yet. We're going to be reviewing the data to create that usage profile. We just haven't gotten around, to doing that. But that is something that is definitely on our radar.
Right.
The question of the trigger point was, we're now looking at triggers for payment, not indicators of total program success. Those are 2 different things. It's changing our mindset to what makes sense from an investor point of view. For us, we're looking at this 100% program ideal, which is at the end of 4 years. Isn't it great? 75% are still housed. But how patient are the investors going to be, and when do they want to start getting their money back?
The providers feel the need to maximize on that metric, and they feel the pressure of the financial thread coming all the way down into their daily life. And so we may find that this financial thread mechanism that connects all these contracts among all these parties becomes the most powerful voice in this complex system. Is that a problem in a social program dealing with the most marginalized, fragile members of your society, to leave them voiceless. Yes, I think that's a big problem.
One son.
One son.
Two shoe.
Two shoe.
Three knee.
Three knee.
Reginald, what do you want to tell me about this story? This story is about? What about Mean Gene? What could we tell somebody about Mean Gene? Stop and talk so I can understand you and hear you. What could we say about Mean Gene? Yes, you do. You know. You were listening to the story. If her name was Mean Gene, what do you think was happening in the story? She was bullying people. Thank you. I'm so glad your brain engaged and clicked on. Ay, ay, ay.
It sounded just kind of like two pops, and we just sort of stopped and listened. And then there were a series of multiple other, pop, pop, pop after that. So, I mean, we sort of knew that it was gunshots. What we do is we go kind of on a lockdown. This school year, it's been twice, including this one would be a third time. All of what goes on in the neighborhood, what goes on in their home life, those types of things impact our students. I wish that some days there were more that we can do.
SIBs are not great at dealing with the root causes of the problems that they're trying to fix, because the root causes of poverty and homelessness and mental health are complex and nuanced. So that's why SIBs have to be very, very carefully designed if they are truly going to deliver great outcomes for people who need them. In general, I would say most SIBs don't do that well.
You have to do the logging. Can be a tenant conflict, legal issue, mental health. Then we can compile our information for our monthly report. In one way is good because you can see the progress, you can measure your work, but the disadvantage is that the human parts of the work is gradually fading, because the quality part is the part that, you can measure it. I have 10 clients. John, he's been housed for over a year and a half. He's enjoying this place, but the addiction part, there is not much progress on that. What's the plan today?
Plan today is to make some money on the Danforth.
Yeah.
And, drink a couple beers.
What time you usually start?
Usually at 8:30.
8:30, but this guy are closed till 9:30 or what?
Yeah, because I go to the laneway in the mornings. They raided me yesterday.
Wow.
Because I used to be a drug dealer, right?
You have your ID with you? They ask you?
I have my birth certificate, that's it.
Not the health card, you still didn't get it,
No, I didn't. Still haven't got that. I gotta go get that soon.
Yeah.
I don't like being on camera.
Yeah, that's okay. I will let them know, yeah. Well, thank you. He's doing okay. He was sober. He was, interactive. This is a good sign to me. Changes in the life of people who've been on the street over 15 years, lots of trauma and challenges. Change wouldn't take place within a year, 2 years, 3 years, or even 4 years. That's not the thing we are expecting. But I could see change on John. He knows he has a place where he can go, rest, take shower, even drink without fear of being harassed. Just enjoying his life, to me, is a change.
You're sweating because you're hot. That's how our bodies cool down. We perspire, we sweat. Don't put your fingers by the crease of the door.
Step down, Reginald.
Reginald.
Step down.
He's been busy lately and just kind of antsy and fidgety, and I'm not sure why that is, but having to redirect him has been something that we've all been having to work on a daily basis with him.
The kids were playing, and I just happened to just walk around, supervise. And Reginald, he didn't know I heard him. Him and a few more other kids, he was laying down with his head back, his hands over his chest. And I'm like, what is he doing? And he said, I'm like my brother Jalen. He was telling Earl. And Earl said, your brother Jalen? And he said, yeah. He was laying down with his arms like that. And that just like blew my mind. I'm
He's
like,
thinking about the funeral from when he saw his brother in the casket.
Right. And I'm like, wow.
And it's a year later, and he's now just processing all of this. It's hard for them to sort of comprehend. Yeah.
And then he's crying, he got me crying. I'm like, okay, Reginald, let's not do this.
We need to help you, Miss
Yeah,
Parker.
because, you know.
I see you're emotional now. Oh.
I mean, for him to just think about it at 5.
Yeah, and that it weighs on him so heavily.
He comes to me, and I'm like, come on, let's hug.
Yeah, I mean, let's hug it out. Let's hug it out.
What else can you say? That a 5-year-old is thinking about his brother that was there every day, and now he's not.
I want you to start at the number 1 and count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Awesome, good job, high five. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you some numbers. The test is literacy and numeracy, and what we're trying to identify is whether the students have made growth from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Are they ready for kindergarten, and where are they actually in their development? What's that number?
1.
What's that number?
5.
What's that number?
1.
What's that number?
6.
If they haven't really made progress, it's a good indicator for us the student might need some additional supports moving forward for the next school year. I think with Reginald, some days he doesn't do as well as others. He has a difficult time being still and focusing on tasks for a long time. He didn't perform as well as I would have thought that he would. Let's go back to your classroom and get another friend. So now we're gonna read a book, okay? Do you remember this book? We read it before, right? How does a dinosaur child celebrate? She thanks Mom and Dad. You guys released the butterflies today, huh?
All of them flew away at the same time.
They did?
All the big ones flew away first, then the baby one.
Well, maybe the baby one had to kind of get ready to fly, right?
Cause he was too busy eating the apple.
Oh, he was having lunch? Oh, so he maybe was hungry. He had to get his energy, right, before he was able to fly away? Well, I think kindergarten readiness, it's kind of a broad definition. From what I've seen today, some are and some aren't ready for kindergarten. Some could probably use an additional year of support. Come on, keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Those students that are struggling now, are they going to get the support that they need in order to be successful? I don't know.
John, how are you doing? Good. Ah, it's good. You ready, yeah? Can you come inside? Yeah. You're here almost by February. You're going to be 2 years, eh? Yeah, anniversary. Yeah. What I have to do, basically, it's a good time to tell you that I have to put application for having long-term support. beside us. You're going to be here, but you will be able to, utilize that service out there, some other agency. But as I said, we're still here. I mean, we're going to be here. We're going to provide you with support. And I'll have to see you around the lunchtime. Greenwood and Danforth?
Yeah, Greenwood and Danforth, somewhere. You'll see me out there.
Yeah,
I'll be standing up there anyway.
Yeah, you want to go for lunch?
Yeah, 12 o'clock.
12,
okay.
Sharp.
All right.
Oh, take care, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. I'm always up and down for it, drinking the lamely. Because if I don't have it, I can go into convulsions. So, and I left home at an early age, so I was on my own ever since.
How old were you when you left home?
14.
I won't be able to go ahead for the step down or reduce the support. In his case, it may take another year. Basically, it's my job to encourage him to stay home and build relation here. Those are the hurdles you have to go through.
I'm gonna miss you all. Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. I think at the heart of why people do this work is they want to make a difference. Been at Mainstay just about 18 years. And one of the hard things to walk away from is the whole social impact bond. When people get access to the resources they deserve, boy, do they make the life better for themselves and everybody else. It's hard to walk away.
Thank you for coming.
I'm so glad to see you.
Yeah, no one gets into social work for the money. It's a calling, it's not a long-term money-making venture. And we don't need to have private sector investors involved. So let's cut out the middleman that have tried to insert themselves in the process and just fund bigger, multifaceted programs with evaluation budgets attached.
The first social impact bonds, which are now finishing, they just die. So the promise that government would then take that learning and build that into policy and build that into the way in which services were commissioned across the country, that's disappeared.
Super. Yeah, take care, Yeah, have a good day.
Politicians often have a very short-term perspective. They need votes to keep getting elected, and they need money to keep winning votes. The children that are served by government programs for 0 to 5 don't have any money, and their parents don't have any money, and they often don't vote. And so there's very little political lobby. There's no doubt some other resource has to be brought to bear.
I think this is a major thing. This is a major thing. Now, will it solve every social issue? The answer is no. Can it have a lasting influence in the way in which our societies tackle social issues? I think the answer is very clearly yes.
The notion that everything is commercializable, that everything that society does can be done so that we can make money from it, that somebody can make money, I think that's a very strange notion.
I don't know how long it takes to make a film like this, but your timing could be perfect. You want tone? What do you want?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We can do it. Yeah.
So what's your name?
Reginald.
When is your birthday?
7/11/19.
7/11/19?
Hey, John. How you doing? Come here.
Hey, I need token, please.
Yeah. Yeah, come here, come here.